I shot in the pouring rain with my Fujifilm X-T3s for 3 straight hours, and I kept asking myself, will my cameras survive? If you've ever wondered how weather resistant Fujifilm cameras and lenses are, I put them up to the test so you don't have to. I am probably the worst person to ask when it comes to gear maintenance or gear protection. I store my gear out in the open, exposed to dust. I change my lenses often during shoots, and to be honest, I've never actually used lens caps. I pretty much leave them at home before I leave the house. As a San Francisco wedding photographer, protecting my gear from the elements isn't really a big priority since I have the privilege of getting to shoot in pretty much decent weather all year round. In the 8 years that I've been photographing weddings, I've actually never had to shoot in heavy rain. That is until this wedding. After I saw heavy rain in the forecast, I decided on dual wielding 2 Fujifilm X-T3s, which are weather resistant, keeping the 50mm f1.0 on one body and the 18mm f1.4 on another body. I figured if everything is weather sealed, how bad could it really be? And before we continue with the video, I want to make a disclaimer. While I am an official Fujifilm ambassador, this video is not made in collaboration with Fujifilm, it is not endorsed by Fujifilm, and it is not any type of official test, recommendation, or claim from Fujifilm. So please do your own research, protect your camera from the elements as best you can, and please don't repeat the same mistakes that I'm about to make in the rest of this video. At 12:39 p.m. I arrive at the getting ready location. Usually there's a window, but she's gonna get ready here, right? He points out that they made these Teru Bozu. This talisman is supposed to have magical powers to bring good weather and to stop a rainy day. I start things off with doing the getting ready photos of the groom. Then I snap a few solos of him before we switch over to the bride getting ready. I'm going to take photos of the details of the bride's outfit first. Then I take some photos of the bride getting ready with her mom helping her to put on her clothes and her jewelry. Now it's pretty much time to start with the first encounter with rain, which is going outside for the first look. And I just kind of go in for it and embrace the fact that it's going to be a wet wedding day. One step forward. Yeah, are you going to have her cup? And then you're going to tap his shoulder right here. And now it's time to head off to the ceremony. Now this is where things get pretty interesting. I start things off by walking from the parking garage to the ceremony site, which is a 10-minute walk in absolute pouring rain. And of course, since I thought it was a funny situation to document, I started taking photos of my camera getting super wet on this tree stump just because I thought it would probably make a good thumbnail for the video, or at least something to just rile people up by sharing it on Instagram. At 2:43 p.m. is when I arrive at the ceremony site, and pretty much it's just family setting up for now, and there really isn't any covered area for me to kind of hide out rain falling on me and my cameras the entire time that I'm at this ceremony area. And at 3:37, we start with some couple portraits. Have you guys just look at each other, touch each other. You can kind of reach up. Closer together. It's a little cold out here anyway, so get a little closer. There you go. Yeah, just one. Yeah, not at me though. Looking at him. Let me guys right here. At around 4:12 p.m. the ceremony starts. This is actually where the camera starts to show a little bit of haziness. Some of the water drops get on the lens and you can actually see it reduce contrast for some of the photos. I'm moving around and trying to document the entire ceremony from different angles. After leaving the ceremony venue and arriving at the reception area, I thought I pretty much got away with it and that everything was good to go. But as soon as I started taking out my cameras from my bags, I noticed they started condensing pretty fast. So I actually messaged a fellow Fujifilm ambassador, Brian Manier, who is very experienced at photographing in inclement weather. Hey, I brought my camera from cold outside rain to inside warm. The lens keeps fogging up on the inside. How do I stop that from happening? I never have to deal with this in California.
You just need to let it acclimate for 10 to 15 minutes in the bag. When I'm going out to shoot, I throw my bag in the car before I go. Silica bags can help too.
I've already been here for like an hour and the viewfinder is still fogged up.
Really? That's odd. Mine clear up pretty quick. Is it really humid?
No, it's not. Yeah, the viewfinder is fogged and the half shutter press isn't working now. I overestimated the WR of the X-T3.
Ah, damn. Yeah. Sounds like there's some water in there, which is crazy. I've had mine in some crazy ass weather.
Eventually, the actual on-off switch wasn't getting registered either, and I can only pop out the battery in order to get it to operate. At around 6:41 p.m., I started noticing that my cameras were fogging up pretty heavily within the camera body itself. It got to a point where I had to keep removing my lens, letting it air out, and putting it back on throughout the entire time of the reception. And at this point is when I actually stopped taking footage with the GoPro because I was too preoccupied freaking out about my cameras. As soon as I get home, I take my cameras out and I've realized that there is thick condensation forming in the EVF. I message Fujifilm tech support to see if they can help me out, and they actually pointed out that if I didn't have the hot shoe cover on, that was going to seep into the top of the camera and could affect the EVF as well as the shutter button. And this is where I realized that I made a huge mistake. I scrambled and I tried to find a desiccant bag from another lens that I had gotten earlier in the week, and I literally just placed it on top of the shutter. After having my camera like this for about a day, I was actually able to regain the half press functionality of the shutter, and I was able to get the on-off functionality back of the power switch. From there, I basically just moved the desiccant bag on top of the hot shoe cover to try to recover and like dry up all the moisture within the EVF. And after about a week of drying out the camera, the condensation was pretty much 100% gone, and it was actually usable again. I realized that I got extremely lucky. This is pretty much what I learned about shooting with Fujifilm cameras in inclement weather. Minimize the amount of exposure that you have your camera in this inclement weather. Try to keep it under 30 minutes or so. Give the camera time to adjust to new conditions when you're going from cold to warm or from wet to dry. Stock up on desiccant bags, and if you can, arm yourself with like a dry cabinet that you can have the camera sit in if you've been shooting with it in really bad weather. The one thing that you need to just be prepared with is be signed up for FPS or Fujifilm Professional Services so that you can send your camera to Fujifilm repair if anything goes bad, and you minimize kind of like that time that you're not able to have a camera to shoot with. Thankfully, my cameras live to shoot another day. You know, what's really important is that the couple, they had a beautiful wedding and absolutely loved their photos after the fact. As much as I love photography gear, really sharing this rainy day horror story was kind of clickbait for me to be able to show you the photos of this adorable wedding day.